Hey everybody, this is Daniel with fitnessblender.com, and today we have a fun strength and plyometric workout for your lower body. So this is going to just kill those lower body muscles. We have two different sections to go through. We're going to start off with the plyo section, and then we're going to end off with that strength section, nice and slow controlled motions. But before that, we need to do our warm-up. So let's go ahead and get that started. All right everybody, let's go ahead and get started with our warm-up. Let me go get my timer started here. We're doing 30 seconds per exercise. I'm going to run right down the list. So our first one is going to be a high knee march. So nice and slow. Just want you to start picking those knees up as high as you can. So just slowly bring that knee up as high as you possibly can. Start warming those hip muscles up as well as that hip flexor, the front of that hip. Just nice slow motion, driving that knee up. No quick motion here. You're not going to try to do this really fastly. You're not even up on the ball of your foot. You're just moving those knees up as high as you can. Keep everything else nice and rigid. Slight contraction in those muscles to try to start getting those muscles warmed up. All right, so we've got squat circles next. So you're going to go off to the left, down, up to the right, pause, and then back down the opposite direction. And pause. So just nice, slow, controlled motions. Start working into that range of motion more and more as you feel more uncomfortable. Just take your time, work that range of motion as best you can. Torso circles are next, so lock those hips into those legs. You're just bending from around your torso, round forward, off to the side, back, down in front, and reverse it. So nice slow motion, again, trying to move as much as you can in that range of motion, as much as it's comfortable. You just don't want it to hurt. More back around. And we're switching off to leg swings. So left leg first, or sorry, standing on your left leg first. Kicking that right leg out. Reach down towards that toe like you're trying to touch that toe. Then stretch it back. Warming that hip joint up again, as well as into those lower abdominal muscles up through that whole abdominal panel, as well as stretching out and flexing through that lower back. Do the same thing on the other side. Switch legs. Now make sure this is a controlled swing. You're not just letting that leg go wherever it wants to. Gotta hold on to my balance here first. Almost done. And we're going to go into a depth squat next, so feet just about shoulder width apart. Key to this one is nice and slow. Just drop down as low as you can into a squat, and then nice and slow, right back up again. Slight bend in that knee, never let it completely lock out. Again, just warming up those hip joints. Go ahead and let that back round a little bit to get a little extra range of motion on it, but make sure that you're not building a bad habit from traditional squats. All right, so we're doing a deadlift and reach. So what I want you to do is start with those feet just about shoulder width apart. Nice flat back. You're going straight over forward. Stretch it down as far as you can without rounding your back. Flat back, and up, and reach back behind you. Slowly back down. Reach to those toes, but keep it flat back. And stretch it back behind you. Just keep that motion going. Again, nice and slow under control. Trying to push that range of motion, but never going to a point where it hurts. All right, get those feet moving. We're going to go into a little bit of boxer shuffle. Start getting that heart rate up just a little bit. Stay up on the ball of your foot. Nice quick motion. Just breathing normally. Wake those calves up and that ankle a little bit. Just keep those feet moving quick. Almost done. We're moving into up and outs next. So up and outs, one leg at a time. Cross between a high knee and a little bit of a skip. So try to keep your hips straight forward. Try not to open them up with your knee. Just hopping those toes. Barely let that toe touch. Popping it back and forth each time. driving that knee up as high as you can. Imagine you're kind of stepping over top of something. All right, last one is jumping jacks. Nice rigid arm and legs. This last one is trying to get that heart rate up a little bit more. Get your core temperature up a little bit more. Make those arms nice and rigid. Make those legs nice and rigid. Contract those muscles through those core, or through that core. Trying to get everything working simultaneously. Bring that heart rate up. Should feel yourself starting to breathe a little heavier. And let it relax. Go back to that boxer shuffle. We'll be starting into the plyo section of this in just a second. All right, so for our first section, like I said, we're doing the plyo section. These plyometrics are designed to build overall power. So each one of these motions you need to do with 100% of your overall effort. We're not doing very many repetitions for that exact purpose. So every single one of them has to count. 100% effort every single time. All right, so starting off with a box. If you don't have a box, which most people don't, that's perfectly fine. You can either use a bench, or if you have an aerobic set, that's perfectly fine. Or if you have an incredibly sturdy chair, you can also jump up into those. Just make sure it's not on a surface that is going to slip. All right, so box jumps and jumping lunges are our first two exercises. We're doing 8 repetitions of each one. Remember, 100% effort, and then making sure you go right into the next exercise. Very little break here. Okay, so box jumps, 8 repetitions, nice clean form. You're gonna jump up, pause with those legs bent, and then step back down nice and slowly. So if you can use a higher step, then go for it. I'm using a relatively low one today, but you can do whatever you can handle. One more. I think that's 8, but I have no idea, so we'll go ahead and stop there. So our next one is going to be a jumping lunge. So let's scoot this out of the way just a little bit. Our jumping lunge, we've done them hundreds of times before if you've done any of our workouts. Get those feet up nice and wide in a regular lunge position, drop down, and 100% explosion straight up, right back down again. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let it relax. You're gonna box back in. Another 8 repetitions of those box jumps. Remember, just doing 2 sets. Recover just a second, and start it. As you notice, it's a lot harder to do these second time around. One more. And scoot that box out of the way. Start another round of those jumping lunges. So split those feet. Drop down and start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whoop, lose my balance, and 8. Whew. All right, shake those legs out. That is 2 sets, both of those, which means we're moving on to our next 2. So our next group is going to be box taps. So basically a version of high knees, and then we're doing squat jumps. So feet shoulder width apart, jumping as hard as you can. Try to recover a little bit more, and then we're gonna start in those box taps. So you wanna get relatively close to the point where you can just kind of barely tap that toe. Again, use whatever height you have available, or if you have multiple heights, the highest one you can control. All right, count only on one leg. As fast as you possibly can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I did some extras apparently. So go ahead and let it relax for a second. Get excited getting in those, are a lot of fun. So we're doing squat jumps next. Feet just about shoulder width apart. Again, 100% effort, every single repetition. You're only doing 8. Drop down and explode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whew. I'm trying to do extra every single one of these. All right, relax for a second, catch your breath. We're gonna go back to those toe taps, those box taps. All right, again, nice and quick, as fast as you possibly can. And start them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let it relax. Got one more round of those squat jumps. Nice big full deep breath. 8 repetitions. Feet shoulder width apart. And begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, let those legs relax for just a second. That's the end of our second group, which means we have one more group to go. So this one is going to be broad jumps and agility dots. So we might have a lot of space here. So make sure you have a nice open space to do this. Move this out of the way for just a second. All right, so broad jump, you're going to be jumping straight forward from a dead stop as far as you possibly can. Pause, turn around, jump back as far as you can. Again, with plyometric exercises, it is 100% effort for every single repetition. All right, starting out with those broad jumps. Squat and jump. Go ahead and turn around. And again, same thing back. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Only go as far as you can control. 6, 2 more. 7. Last one. And 8. All right. Next we have agility dots. We're going to be using both legs at the same time. Focus on how you do this because we're going to be doing the opposite direction next time. So imagine 4 dots on the ground. You're going to be jumping from point to point, making an X pattern across the top of that square. But because we're only doing 8 repetitions, make it a big, big square. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, let it relax. Remember which direction you started. So bottom left to bottom right to start. We're gonna be doing the opposite direction next time. All right, back to those broad jumps. And start them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 more, 7, and 8. All right, one more round of those agility dots. Catch your breath for just a second. All right, remember, starting from bottom right corner to bottom left corner to reverse that direction. And start it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, give yourself a little bit of a break, grab a drink of water. We'll be starting back in for the strength portion in just a second. All right, everyone, we still have one more group to go, and this one is going to be the traditional strength training group. So if you did the plyometrics portion right, those legs should already be feeling pretty jello-y. So the point of this is just to obliterate them all the way. So take them from just a little bit jello-y to completely jello-y. So the idea of this is, of course, always you want to focus on that form, but you also want to make sure that you are challenging those muscles as much as possible. This first one is a little bit of a more difficult position to be in with lots of weight. We're doing step-ups, so you might want to start a little bit light on that one, but for the rest of these exercises, through all these groups, try to lift as heavily as you can control. All right, so I'm using 20 pounds per hand for this. You can do this off of just a regular chair. You can do this off of a bench. You can do it off of an aerobic step. It doesn't matter, just whatever is comfortable for you as far as height goes. You can even use a plyo box for this. Whatever the height is, it's going to work for you. So 1 foot up, we're doing 8 repetitions on each side. So let's go ahead and get started. Left leg first, nice and slow. You're going to go straight up and slowly back down. You try to get as much range of motion back down as you can, so kind of let that knee bend slightly at the bottom. So slowly press it up and slowly back down. That's 3, 4, it's halfway. Try not to use that bottom leg to get yourself up. Try to use 100% effort on just that left leg. 7 and 8. All right, switch over to the other side. Same exact motion, just opposite leg. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's halfway. 'Keep that form clean. Keep those lungs open. One more. And let that relax. All right. Those legs rest for just a second. Next one is going to be an alternating side lunge. Just gonna start with those feet really nice and wide. Just alternate left to right. Hands will be up at a rack position up to the shoulders. So pick whatever weight is going to be comfortable for that. I'm gonna try 20 pounds per hand again. So pop them up to the shoulders. Get those feet up nice and wide. Let's go ahead and get them done. Nice and slow down to one side. Back up and off to the other. So we're doing 8 repetitions on each side. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 6, 2 more on each side. Just focus on that form. 7 and 8. Go ahead and relax. Drop those weights. Get your breath for just a second. Shake those legs out. We're going to start right back into those step-ups. All right. Grab those dumbbells. Starting again on that left leg first. And start them up. halfway. Just concentrate on that form. Two more. Last one. Let it relax, but switch over to the other side and start right back in. It's halfway. One more. And let that relax. Short pause. Got another round of those side lunges. All right, grab those weights. Pop them up to those shoulders, a rack position. Get out nice and wide. Start up. Off to one side. Same thing to the other. Try to keep that back as flat as you can. That's halfway. Just keep it going. Nice, smooth, controlled motion. Slow down, slow up. One more on each side. Yeah, try to relax. All right. Drop those weights. We got one more set of each. If you need to drop, go for it. If it's still really, really easy for you, bump that weight up for that last round. I'm gonna try to stay where I was. It's starting to get a little bit hard, but I think I can get through with clean form, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick with it. So 20 pounds again. All right, step ups, starting with that left leg. And start it. 1, 2, 3. Concentrate on that form. Nice flat back, halfway. Last one. And let it relax. Switch sides. And start them up. It's halfway. Keep those lungs open, don't hold your breath. One more. And let it relax. All right, another short pause. Got one more round of those side lunges. All right, pop them up. Feet out nice and wide. And start up. Flat back. Nice, slow, controlled motion. It's halfway. 2 more on each side. And let it relax. Whew. All right, drop those weights. Give yourself a little bit of a break. Just like with other strength training, we're trying to do this for absolute max weight. So give yourself up to 4 to 5 minutes of maximum rest. Go ahead and hit pause. We'll be back to do that next group in just a second. All right, I hope that rest helped make those legs feel a little bit better, because we're about to make them feel a little bit worse. So we are going to be doing deadlifts and an alternating lunge next. So traditional lunge, so stepping out in front instead of side. So deadlifts, flat back, lift as heavy as you possibly can. We're going to do pretty much a straight leg deadlift, so a very, very slight bend in your knee for this one. I'm going to try really nice and heavy. So I'm using 50 pounds per hand. Like I said, slight bend in that knee. Weight straight in front of your chest or straight in front of those thighs. Flat back, straight down, and back up. Nice, slow, controlled motion. Both directions. Make sure you're keeping the speed relatively the same on the way down and the way back up. Halfway. One more, flat back. And let it relax. Whew. All right, drop those weights. Like I said, our next one is going to be an alternating lunge, just stepping forward and back up. I'm going to use a little bit less weight on this one. All right, let's go ahead and start the first set of these guys. I'm going to be using 30 pounds per hand. And we're only counting on one leg since we're doing both. So step out, back up, out, back up, and that's one. Just concentrate on that form. Chest straight up and down. Drop straight in between those legs. Don't let yourself hover forward over that front leg. Two more on each side. One more on each leg. And let that one relax. Drop those weights. Select that weight for a deadlift. Give yourself just a little bit of a rest. Those legs shake out for a second. When you're doing leg routines especially, those big muscles in those legs suck up a ton of oxygen. So if you do them really quickly, one on top of the other, you can end up getting to the point where you start getting a little bit hypoxic. You might start seeing stars. You might start having a little bit of trouble speaking, like slurring your speech, almost feeling like you're drunk. So if you start feeling that, slow down. Take really nice long deep breaths. Don't do anything else until you start to recover, because the last thing you need to do is really heavy lifting while drunk, or at least feeling drunk. All right, so let's go ahead and do the next round of those deadlifts. Pretty much a straight leg, slight bend in that knee, flat back, start them up. Keep those lungs open. Two more. Last one. And let it relax. All right, drop those back down. Short little pause. Doing that alternating lunge again. If it was really difficult for you last time, use the same weight or drop. If it was easy, same weight or increase. All right. Felt just about right for me last time. It was still pretty challenging, so I'm going to stay at the same weight, 30 pounds per hand. All right, let's go ahead and get them going. Step out, back up. Same thing on the other side. And that's one. Again, torso perfectly straight up and down. Try to keep those shoulders right above those hips. Nice long step. The longer the step you take, the harder it's going to be, the more those muscles have to work. That's halfway right there. Just keep them going. One more in each leg. And let it relax. So again, let it relax for just a second. Shake those legs out, nice full deep breaths. That's 2 sets of each of those, so we got one more set of each. Let's go ahead and get that last set of those deadlifts done. So select that weight. Still using 50 pounds per hand. Feet just about shoulder width apart. Hands in front of those thighs. Flat back, slight bend in that knee. Start them up. Two more. Last one. And let it relax. All right. Just one more round of those alternating lunges. I'm going to try to keep that weight there one more time. And select the weight you need. All right, let's go and get that last set done. Grab those weights. Nice long lunge. Remember counting just on one leg. That's 2 down. Starting to get tired, and I'm starting to lean more onto that front leg. Try to correct that form as best you can. It's halfway. One more on each, or 2 more on each side. One more on each leg. All right, set those weights down. Whew. All right, it's time for another break. Again, 4 to 5 minutes maximum. We'll come back and finish up our last group. See you in just a second. All right, everybody, we have one last group to go, and this one should hopefully finish those legs off for good. We have a nice full squat and a calf raise. So that calf raise should be nice and easy, but that squat with everything else we've done, it's probably going to be pretty painful. So keep that in mind when you select your weight. For me, I usually use a lot more than I'm about to for this squat, but my legs are feeling completely jello-y and actually starting to feel like they're about to cramp up on me. So I'm going to go a little bit lighter than I normally would. So I'm going to be using 30 pounds per hand. So let's go ahead and start off with our traditional squat, and then we'll go through our calf raise. So you're just going to pop those dumbbells up to those shoulders, feet just about shoulder width apart, nice and slow down, as low as is comfortable with a flat back, and right back up again. So make sure you're keeping a flat back, mimicking the angle of those shins with the angle of your upper body from hip to shoulder. It's a nice full range of motion. That's halfway. Two more. Last one. And let it relax. Drop those weights. All right, we've got calf raises next. So we're going to go ahead and do these with both feet at the same time. So if you have something like a step to do this off of, I suggest doing that. But since you're using a weight in both hands, it is very difficult to keep balance. So just keep that in mind. If you need to, you can lean up against a wall and just use a weight in one hand. Otherwise, just try to follow along with me. So I'm going to actually use the same weight I was just using. So 30 pounds per hand. Feet just about shoulder to hip width apart or slightly narrower. Get that heel floating just a little bit so get that calf contracted. Press up onto that toe as high as you possibly can. And then slowly back down, but don't let it completely touch. A little bit of a hover. Really try to roll all the way up onto the tip of that toe. Tight, tight squeeze. It's halfway. Two more. Last one. And let it relax. All right, so I was definitely feeling that a little bit, but I need to feel a little bit more, so I'm going to increase my weight for that one for the next round. But we need to do our squat again first. So shake those legs out one more time. Let's go ahead and get that second set of those squats done. So go ahead and grab those weights. Pop them up. 8 repetitions. Nice and slow down. Right back up. Go down as low as is comfortable. If you can't get as low as me, that's perfectly fine. Just go, like I said, as low as is comfortable. That's halfway. One more. And there we go. Whew. All right, I'm going to add a little more weight for that calf raise. All right, let's go ahead and get them done. I'm now using 45 pounds per hand. Again. Feet shoulder width, hip width, or narrower, and press it up. As high onto that toe as you can, back down, a little bit of a hover, right back up. This isn't a huge range of motion, but you want to try to make as big of a range as you can. It's halfway. One more. And let it relax. Whew. All right. I'm going to drop that weight back down. We got one more set of each, and then we are done. We're We're gonna go into a little bit of a cool down. We need to get these done first, so one more set of each. All right, let's get that last squat done. Still using the same amount of weight, 30 pounds per hand. Let's get them going. Pop that weight up. Feet just about shoulder width or slightly wider. And started. Nice slow controlled motion. Two more. Last one. And let it relax. Okay. One more exercise. Gotta do those calves. All right, let's go ahead and get them started. Grab that weight. Again, feet about hip width apart or narrower. And start them up. Press up onto those toes as high as you can. Back down, a little bit of a hover. Right back up. Tight, tight squeeze the top. That's where you're going to feel this the most. Six, got two more. Last one. And let it relax. All right. We're done with that strength portion, so that means all we have left is our cool down. So we're gonna just jump right into it. We're gonna go for just a regular straight leg hang. Feet just about shoulder width apart. Drop it down, keep that back flat first. Keep those legs nice and straight. You might have difficulty keeping those legs straight because those quads are so tired that those knees are gonna wanna pop out on you, but just try to keep them as straight as you can. And around that back, go ahead and drop the rest of the way. Try to really stretch those hamstrings. And stand back up. We're going to do a quad stretch next. So one foot, same foot as hand. Try to keep your balance with this one. If you need to, lean up against a wall or a chair or some piece of furniture. Something to help you keep your balance. Heel to butt. You're going to squeeze that leg back behind you. Keep that torso straight up and down. Don't lean forward. And let that relax. Do the same thing on the other side. Heel to butt. Pull that leg back. Torso straight up and down. And let that relax. We're going to do an inside thigh stretch, so legs out nice and wide. Bend one knee, lean back towards that straight leg, pressing that hip down towards the ground. Not literally pressing with your hand, but just let your weight drop into it. Try to kick those hips down towards that leg as well. Switch sides, same thing on the other side. So drop that leg down, drop that hip down. Try to get that stretch to the inside of that thigh. And let that relax and do a calf stretch next. So down in like a plank position, one foot at a time. Press that heel towards the ground, the leg up over top. Just keep that leg locked out nice and straight to engage that calf muscle. And switch sides. And let that relax. You can lay down flat on your back. One leg crossed over top. Grab behind that thigh, pull in. Try to let that lower back release as much as you can. You should be feeling this in the glute, inside that glute of the leg you have crossed over top. Go and switch sides. Grab that behind that thigh, pull in. And roll over into your stomach. Just gonna do 2 more. A shell stretch, so hands by the base of your rib cage. Press it up, or sorry, a cobra stretch. Arch it up as high as is comfortable. Kick that head up towards the ceiling. Pull those shoulders back behind you. Just breathe normally. And let that relax. Pull those knees in underneath, hands out in front. Let those glutes and that lower back stretch. And let it relax. All right, that is the end of the cool down, which means this workout is complete. Hope you guys liked it. Hope those legs are completely dead. So give them a good stretch again tonight. Drink tons of water. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time.